Ba-da-da-dum bum bum ba-da-da-dum bum bum ba-da-da-dum bum bum. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. We have arrived, my fellow beautiful people, and a happy Saturday to you all. Gosh, it's good to see everybody again. We've arrived to 2022. We made it. Woo! Woo! How's it feel? Everybody hear me okay? I feel great. I've been doing readings. I've been keeping lots busy. Plenty of openings next week, by the way, if anybody needs to come in. Wow. You know what I love about 2022? What I love, first off, let me give gratitude to everybody who's decided to join us today. And then we'll get into 2022 and beyond. If you are a member, welcome, welcome. Great to see you all here at the members get together. This is our traditional, we call it spa day, where we get together and we love on one another. We take care of each other. We do personal blitzes for the members. And gosh, I'm so happy to be back. I had a great vacation, but I thought about you folks every single day. I did. I thought about you. I wondered about you. I wondered how you were doing. And I'm just so grateful you're here. So let's give gratitude to Susan Girardeau. Is that how we pronounce it? Welcome, fairies and angels. We have a new fairy and a new angel. And what we always like to say to the new fairies and angels, are you more fairy or are you more angel? Wouldn't we all like to know? Now, fairies tend to be a little mischievous. We mean well, but sometimes we just have to get into mischief. And angels are really good eggs. Most of us are fairies and angels, but I must confess that I think I'm more fairy than angel, but I'll let you folks decide for yourselves. Welcome to Sandy S. She is also a fairy and an angel. More fairy or angel, Miss Sandy? Thank you so much, Brenda, for the generous donation of $19.99. Thank you to Susan and Sandy. Thank you to Brenda. I'm grateful. Pamela Doss back in the house. Good to see you. And more fairy or more angel? Wouldn't we all like to know? Come tell us. Secrets we'd like to know. Terry Soma is in the house. I believe Terry may be a teacher. I believe she may be certified as a HCRV teacher. We're starting class this Wednesday. We are coming back to teach HCRV. I'm so excited. We're changing the form, the long form. I've been playing with two types of long form with HCRV, and I'm going to start teaching it a little bit differently than we've taught it in the past. So if you've taken HCRV in the past and you really want to do the long form, but you want it to be a little bit more condensed, I'm going to start doing it a little bit differently and not focusing so much on balancing heaven and earth energy. And we're more just into grounding and centering and going back to the core. So I'm going to switch up how I teach HCRV next week. But congratulations to Terry Soma, great student, a great remote viewer. I believe she also works professionally if you're looking to hire a remote viewer. I believe you can find her information on Alignable if you need a remote viewer that is extraordinary. Hello, Geo Cosmic. Ooh, Valentine. Happy New Year to you. God bless. Julie Worcester, hypnotist. Also, I believe on Alignable. I definitely think hypnotherapy is an important tool for helping people. So we want to give a welcome to Julia. Welcome to Julia Worcester. She's a hypnotherapist. She's also a fairy and an angel. More fairy or angel, Julie? Welcome, welcome, and a happy new year to you. My goodness, so much love, so much warmth from everybody. Hi, Constance Pleasance. Great to see you. Oh, she's an angel. Ah, I am not, alas. Hello, Connie Brown. Sharon Sipe is in the house. Welcome, welcome. Vicky Pouchet. Well, what do y'all think about the changes that are going on in the world right now, huh? I have to say that when I do remote views on 2022, I always sing to people when they become members or donate, and it also gives me an excuse to start singing, which it doesn't require much for me to start singing. I go wild, and I'm out of control, and I love to sing. Speaking of which, let's do it together. Doreen Garby, she became a fairy and an angel on January 1st. More fairy or more angel? A little naughty or a little nice? We like to say that the fairies like to snack. Yes, they go in like little gremlins and they take little snacks. Yes. Cookies, cakes, pastries, tea time. And then the angels, they say no. And they eat carrots and broccoli and spinach and healthy, good, nutritious things. Well, my base is an angel diet, like I just had breakfast. It was a nice barley flakes, with some nuts and seeds and berries. And then now I've got my fairy, which is my second cup of coffee. Anyway, awfully good to see everybody. First things first, did anybody make any New Year's resolutions? Any of that happen yet? Any New Year's resolutions for the members? Yeah? Angelic oatmeal with blueberries, lunch, fairy, Chinese food. There you go, Julie. See, Julie is like me. She's got a balance there. Got a nice balance. Well, speaking of fairies and angels, you know that Betty White has passed on, and I did do a remote on Miss Betty White. What a beautiful person she is, Miss Betty White. She passed before her 100th birthday, and they say she was always looking for the positive in life, right? So even though she had some challenges, right? She was married 3 times. Her beloved Alan, he passed away from stomach cancer. So she knew heartbreak, but they say that she was a lovely woman. She was an animal rights advocate. She said her diet was to avoid all things green. I think she was a vegetarian, though, so I think that's a joke. She said, I avoid all things green, and it's been working for me. But I really felt during her, I think she might have died of a virus, because it felt like when I did the remote on Betty White, I felt like I had caught something. So it could be because of her age, if she got the Omicron, even if she had been boosted. It could have been something like that, because I felt something in the chest, and that it had happened really quickly over like a 2-3 day period. My first thought as her, when I put myself in her shoes at the passing, is I felt like, oh, well, this isn't bad at all. It's kind of like you are a little frightened of passing, and then when you realize you're passing, oh, well, this is actually not bad at all. This is rather a pleasant thing. So she had a pleasant passing, a little bit of fear, right? Because of trouble breathing, a quickening of the heart. And then she passes very gently. And not surprisingly, her first request was to see my husband, Alan. That was my first emotional. And I heard myself say a joke as Betty White, which was, I heard myself say that I wanted to see Alan. And then she said, and then she said a joke. She said, is Alan here? Because there were a few years there where it was touch and go with him. So the joke being that perhaps she fell in love with a man that liked the ladies. Evidently, it took her a while to convince him to marry her, or vice versa. But she said, like he was a bit naughty in his younger years. So there was a bit of a joke that, but yes, she was met by Alan. But I thought that was very funny what she said. It was kind of touch and go with him. Is he here? But yes, she had a very gentle. I was very pleasantly surprised at her passing. She only had a few moments of fear. She got something came over her, possibly a virus. It happens very quick. It causes a rapid heart, possibly because of difficulty breathing, a little bit of fear, and then she's out. So that's how it felt. And then realizing, oh, well, this wasn't bad at all. That was a rather gentle passing. And then being reunited with her beloved. So it was rather nice. It was a nice passing. It was gentle. It was a gentle passing. Yes, she was somebody who I did get to meet a couple of times because I worked at a pharmacy, Pharmaca Pharmacy. Yay, best pharmacy in the world. It's an integrated pharmacy in Brentwood. And she would often come in to pick up various things. And we would talk about dogs. And she would always wear this shirt that had the various different types of dogs. And she told me that she had a golden retriever that had separation anxiety. So she always had to rush home to her golden retriever. And then she asked me what my favorite dog was. And I said, a scruffy terrier. I said, I want a scruffy terrier. And she looked at me and said, oh, I don't blame you. Yeah, me too. I want a scruffy terrier. So she loved animals. And she gave quite a bit of money away to protect and care for animals. Lovely woman. Well, what do you all want to do today? It is your moment. It is our spa day. We are here to celebrate everybody here, to give gratitude to the members, subscribers, and everybody who's been participating in helping to make this channel fun and positive. Also, feel free to give me feedback. I'm only human. Sometimes I do great work. Sometimes there's room for improvement. So just be gentle. If there's anything you think I can do to make this channel better for you, I want it to be better for you and me and all of us. So feel free to give feedback. I thought it would be nice if we could do a general reading on what 2022 is going to be about. She is under me on her bed, 2 sheets to the wind, right? She ate way too much kitty kibble and then passed out. But it's healthy kitty kibble. I buy her Crave, which is expensive, but she loves it, and she deserves it, right? I don't like to give her anything that has corn or wheat or anything like that because cats are carnivores. So I prefer to give her just 100% chicken or something like that. And she's very specific. She hates lamb. She won't eat a lamb, which is good because I like lambs. She likes chicken. She likes salmon. So I give her what she wants, She's an old soul. I'm convinced we've known one another in many lifetimes. So yeah. Well, what do y'all think about what happened in Colorado? Let's talk about the fire in Colorado. Now, as you know, one of the things that has come up in previous remote viewings is this idea of extremely strong winds. When I went into meditation, I think it was 2-3 years ago, and I put myself in the shoes of Gaia, etc., balancing out the energy, I felt this strong wind, just pulling me. And I thought, ooh, I don't like this feeling at all. It was almost like she was sweeping up a lot of messes, right? Sweeping up a lot of messes, cleaning house. And when you go deeper into this energy on Gaia, this kind of wind coming up, it does feel like the earth has a kind of consciousness to it. Gaia has a kind of consciousness to it. And it's almost like she's pulling up anything she doesn't like. Uh, she doesn't like the drilling, right? The oil drilling into her core, ripping it out. She doesn't like the fracking, uh, certain types of industries like Texas, wiping out the cattle industry in Texas. Uh, just very, very almost brutal in terms of this kind of sweeping energy, this winds and ripping and tearing things up from their, from their foundations. In the case of Colorado, as horrible as it was, I hear that did nobody die? Were there no deaths? In which case, I think that that's a wonderful miracle. Yeah. When you think about all that wind and all that horror and how large the fire was, that the death numbers could have been it could have been quite more horrible than it actually was. So, but unfortunately, we see, particularly in the Midwestern states, strong winds. And that, unfortunately, is not going to go away anytime soon. It continues to be a problem. So I'm not surprised that we're seeing tornadoes and that kind of energy in general, like what happened in the Philippines, which was a combination of water and wind. What do they call that? It's not a tornado. It's not a tsunami. It's something else. Wow, Miss Patricia. 10 miles north from your house. Owie, owie. That is terrifying. Weird weather. A cyclone. Yeah, like cyclones hitting, monsoons, typhoon. Thank you. Connie got the word. Yay, yay, Miss Connie Brown. She got the word right. Yeah, typhoons. It just, oof. Now, the other thing that I keep getting is people keep saying, oh, winters have been milder. Winters have been milder. It doesn't feel to me like winters are milder. It feels to me like winters are coming later. So winter used to start December 21st, right? But now it feels like winter is starting more like January 31st. And so it's not that the weather is milder, it's that it's starting later and later and later. And now you're having winter going until April, May, June. It's almost like add a month, add 2 months. So if people say, well, Toronto is great right now, talk to me in February, right? Talk to me in February, because it's same in New York, beautiful in December, 60, 70 degrees in December. And I used to live in New York. And I thought, well, this is fantastic. We're going to have a really mild winter. And I get fooled every year when I'm in New York. Well, we're going to have a really mild winter. And then comes January and February in New York. And oy gewaltig mehr. We always get hit with the snowstorms late January, February. So the winters are still brutal. They're just coming a month or two later. So I definitely see bad weather coming in the next couple of months, and I see more Arctic blasts. The other weird thing is that how you have the Arctic winds that are coming in over Canada, over Greenland. Well, it almost feels like it's coming later, and also there's a shift. So now it's expanding downward like this. So you're getting this Arctic wind pushing down even into Texas. I'm sorry again, Texas. Next week you could be blasted again by an Arctic wind, because I just feel like it's coming. It's coming hard January, February, and then flooding in March from the melting snows, April. Yeah, Julie. I mean, same with me, like Toronto there in February, I just the icicles and I've never seen cold like that. People say it's worse in the other areas, and I'm sure it is, but in terms of major cities that I've been in, it's just unbelievably cold. Unfortunately, yeah, Texas, and it just has to do with the feeling I have of just this Arctic energy coming down further and going like this. Now, that means also that parts of the Southwest might be protected, but unfortunately, the warm air, if it pushes the warm air down, you're talking about flooding in the southeastern United States. And so I see good things for 2022, but not necessarily good things for the weather in 2022. So when we think about 2022, we think about 2022 as being a time of just real extremes of cold and wet. Those are the two things: wind, cold, wet, even more so than heat. Not saying that there aren't going to be areas of heat coming into, say, August of next year, but the main thing I get is just winds, rough winds, ripping things up, carrying things up, cyclones, tornadoes, um, and wet wind, and then this crazy ice sheet. I mean, this ice sheet that's coming in and settling over the northeastern United States and parts of the Midwest. This ice sheet feels literally like you would expect mammoths to come walking back on Earth. It does almost feel like we are coming back into a new ice age, doesn't it? For those of you who are remote viewers, those of you who do the long technique and have been, I'm assuming people like Terry have been doing their meditations, it just feels blistering cold. Like, yeah. So a I don't know what the polar vortex really means, but I know when I put myself in this meditation, whew, I'm cold, cold, cold. Okay, the other energy that we have coming in for 2022 is sanity, light, and justice. Right? Sanity. Yeah, I know, Julie. I know. Be curious what the HCRV remote viewers are picking up, because I know you should try and do the long form at least a few times a week just to keep yourself fresh. But it feels to me like we went into a period also where it was just crazy, crazy times, right? I get so many calls from people who have come out of crazy relationships, crazy jobs, crazy family members, gaslighting, just a lot of alternative facts kind of energy. It's okay. Let's all learn what the polar vortex is. Polar vortex, that wind that comes down from Canada deep into. Oh yes, that's what it feels like. Oof. Yeah. So starting in January, but really It's just a rough February. I don't think the groundhog's gonna see spring early. Not with that type of energy. I mean, it's not really a groundhog doing that, but you know what I mean. It's like it looks like a delay in the summer. So we're looking at politics. When we meditate on the energy of politics, it just feels very sane, very grounded, very no BS, speaking truth to power, being straight in our ethics, straight in our values. And it's also an invitation for us spiritually when we think about the energy coming in: sanity, light, truth. Also, the time of the Queen of Wands. We've talked about this energy of the Queen of Wands, and I want to talk about it again. If you feel, this is something I want to share with everybody here. If you feel like you have been possessed, okay, like you have been possessed and seized by this desperate need to take charge and seize the moment and be completely intolerant of lies and untruths, and you seek justice absolute and you're coming after the bad guys, if you feel like you have zero tolerance for BS, gaslighting, and you're going to fight to your last breath for truth and justice, and you are calling on yourself to be your best self, the Queen of Wands, and you are a person whose loyalties are unquestionable, you are here for the good of everyone, and you can trust me because I'm doing the work I need to do to be the best person I can be to support this community. If you find yourself being seized by that energy, that's because energetically, if you're looking at the tarot, the tarot is the story of the fool going on a journey, right? So he goes on a journey and he has all these different experiences, and each of those experiences comes with it a different type of an energy, right? So the energy we are seized by are these strong queens, the Queen of Wands, who seeks justice absolute, who seeks leadership, and she's draped in the colors of loyalty, and the lioness, right? You know, why is my child suffering? Who are my children, right? Who is the child that she seeks to protect? All of God's children are my children, right? That's the Queen of Wands. Well, why are you worried about that child? That child is not from your culture. That child isn't one of us. That child is rich. That child is poor. That child is a different species, right? Queen of Wands response would be, all God's children are my children, right? You do not argue with the Queen of Wands, right? Oh, you give me permission to only see inside the remote this morning and nothing else? It's too long to write on here. Oh dear. So that energy that you're feeling, it's not that you've gone crazy. It's not that Liz Cheney has gone crazy or Raskin's gone crazy or anybody else. It's that we are all collectively coming. It's like boiling to the surface, this energy, this need for truth, justice, being our best selves, loyalty. And this comes up to the next challenge for 2022 for us spiritually. And that is to be true in word and deed, right? So that is something that we have to think about. We have to think about, are we true in word and deed? I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. One of the things that the feds are doing is they're trying to look at how they can monitor where money comes from and where money goes, because we were bankrupted by people taking large sums of money out of the United States and transferring it into other places, right? They didn't pay their taxes. Instead, they got rich coming up with clever ways to hide their money so that they didn't have to do the bare minimum of what they were required to do, right? They were sending it off to Panama. They were sending it off here, there, and everywhere. So we had these papers coming out. What was the recent papers that came out? Where it came out that Boris Johnson and all these people were hiding money off in various different places, corruption, they didn't want to pay their taxes. And it was a 10-year investigation by reporters to expose corruption amongst the wealthy. The Pandora Papers, thank you so much. So what came out from the Pandora Papers was that the Panama came first and then the Pandora. Very good, Connie. And what came out of the Pandora Papers was that the press was able to do this expose on corruption and the refusal of the wealthy to pay their taxes because the rich were helping the reporters, right? So you had people like Mary Trump breaking open all the finances and giving things over to the press. You had this playing itself out in India with the wealthy in India, Britain. So what happened was the wealthy want to police the wealthy. Think about that. even amongst the wealthy. Being wealthy doesn't mean you're a sociopath. It just means you're wealthy. Mary's wealthy. Mary Trump. When her uncle got the presidency, she actually checked herself into a post-traumatic stress disorder rehab facility, right? Because she literally needed medical attention. So we came from a very dark place, right? But what we learned from the Pandora Papers is that the wealthy, who had also seen this injustice, began turning in one another, right? They began to expose the corruption from within their own community, and that led to the expose that was the Pandora Papers. So if we're seeing monitoring of money, etc., we're seeing it because the wealthy are saying you need to police us. There's a lot of bad things going on. It's out of control, and we want you to come in and take care of this, because what's happening is wrong. Same with the granddaughter of Disney, right? Same thing, exposing it, calling people out. She endorsed Bernie Sanders, right? So it was a good thing, right? It's a good thing that everybody is being called to be themselves best selves. So if we are going to be on the same page, if we're going to be our best selves, say you're starting a business, say you're a therapist, say you're a professional remote viewer like Terry, whatever it is you choose to do in your life, that 2022 is the day when you police yourself, where you say, okay, if people are going to trust me to be the epitome of the Queen of Wands, if I'm going to be draped in loyalty, if I'm going to be the person that others trust, I have to keep my own house in order. Am I paying my taxes? Am I doing the best work I can do? Am I 101%, 110% behind my client so that they can get the best possible service? Am I ripping people off? Am I screwing people over? If we are all called to be true in word and deed, and if we are cleaning up our own mess, that's really what 2022 is about. Because what can sometimes happen is we can be pointing, well, you're not paying your taxes, you're doing this, and you're doing this. And then secretly, we're coming up with ways to screw over the customer. Well, let's see if I can get more people this way. Let's see how can I? That ultimately is not, that ultimately is what this 2022 is about. It's that soul searching we do so that we can be the person that other people in the tribe look at and say, wow, I trust you. I trust you. Can you keep a secret? Do you gossip too much? Well, Jane, she's no longer a spring chicken. And, how much watching our words, watching what comes out of our mouth. That's a lot of what 2022 is about. Do we speak down to people, or how are we gossiping too much? What can we do to be true in word and deed? That's how we rise as a community. We keep our own house in order. We keep it scrupulously clean with our taxes and our ethics. And we are about our own business, child, right? Oh, Miss Redwood, she's fixing me up for coffee this month. Thank you, Miss Redwoods. Sing it with me, whatever you want to sing. Oh, Miss Redwood bought me coffee for the month of January. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's going to be Pete's. Major Dickens. The best. So that is what I have. That is the message from Spirit. Thank you, Redwood. It's very appreciated, the donation. Oh, John Weber's here. Good to see you, John. And that's really the spirit we're going into, in 2022, is really soul searching, that we be the most ethical, honorable people we can be. Yeah, pretty cool, huh? So now I thought it would be cool if we do the impasse prayer. Of course, I'll be back tomorrow for the main group. Yeah, we'll be having our regular Sunday get together. Yeah, I thought it would be nice if we just did a deep dive into 2022, general reading for the spirits, the spiritual energy, and the anything else I might be seeing for 2022. Would you like a general reading for 2022? We'll do the group reading tomorrow, but this is more just general objective, what the energies are going to be looking like for 2022. Would y'all like that? Anything I didn't get to, by the way, before we do that? Projection it's so true, Connie. I do it all the time. We all do it. Being human is difficult. But I'm so happy. I'm so happy to be back. I'm so excited about what the year is going to be like for me and for you. And I'm really excited. I feel like I've come through something. I don't know if anyone else feels that, but I just feel like I've come through something where I'm really committed to working on my ethics, my values, my business, getting it as clean as possible, as ethical as possible, working on my own challenges so that I can rise to the place where others trust me and where I can be that Queen of Wands. I can lead. I want to be the person. I aspire to be the person that, you know what, I got this. I will lead. And that I think is what she calls us all to do. All right. I didn't get an order though, so I don't know. I didn't get an order to do a blitz or anything, but no, I don't. Let's get organized. I did get myself some new cards while I was on vacation. Mm-hmm. No blitz away? No blitz? No request? Blitz away? On Donner on Blissin? Oh, thank God someone remembered. Geocosmic Valentine. Oh, there it is. There's the order. Now, people want to hear that impasse prayer. Let's do it together. You know the prayer. Oh, thank you, Katie. Thank you, Katie, and a happy new year to you, and many blessings to you, Katie. Amen. All right, let's do the prayer. Okay, I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively as a community, we say, Amen. Let's go in. Oh, thank you, Melinda. Doesn't take much to get me to sing. (2022). This is a reading for the world for 2022. Oops. All right, so the first thing that they are saying is that a lot of people have left their jobs. A lot of people have left their jobs. They've lost they've left their marriages, they've left their families, they've left the lives that they have built. A lot of what has happened over the last couple of years has been about loss, about letting things go, about losing things, walking away from well-established institutions, walking I love spa day too. Walking away from one's church, perhaps, one's community. The karma card for 2022, thank you, sweet Lorraine. Sweet Lorraine. She paid for some catnip for Mila, and Mila's going to love it. The karma card for the world right now is the Eight of Cups. I have to say, this seems very appropriate to me. And I think the reason that it's appropriate because we have 9 years before we have to switch from coal and oil to wind and solar. A lot of what we spent years building, we've let go of. You know, we let go of the old economy. And I think along with that old economy comes the people and the things and the belief systems that propped up that economy, right? So we had churches that were propping up politicians, and also the wealthy were very involved in those churches and those organizations so that they could prop up the economy that was making them wealthy. And what has started to happen is a collapse of those dynasties. And the reason it's collapsing is because what they were making money on is no longer profitable. So we think about what was profitable up until now, the big awakening, the big shift. Arms dealers, right? Arms dealers, people that spent money selling weapons to various different questionable people so that they could continue making money off of wars that never needed to happen in the first place. So the arms dealers were just, there are other ways to solve problems without blowing each other up, right? So we pulled out of Syria, we pulled out of Iraq, we pulled out of Afghanistan, we don't want to fight North Korea. I don't think that guy's Kim Jong-un. I was in Hollywood. I worked as an extra for years in Hollywood. That guy had a tape on the back of his head that looked like a prosthetic. I was a Conehead, by the way. I don't know if anyone knows that. I was in Coneheads, the movie. I was a Conehead for 3 weeks. We had a huge prosthetic eyelashes, everything all over my face, and then makeup to cover the prosthetic. Go take a look at the tape on the back of Kim Jong-un. That's a prosthetic. It means the entire scalp, everything is a prosthetic. That guy is an actor. And when I do a remote on him, he's like a cousin or a close friend of Kim Jong-un. I'm telling you, the military took over. Kim Jong-un is gone. And they've got some actor playing the part of Kim Jong-un. I swear that's what it looks like. And you can look at the pic. I was a Conehead, yes. We weren't allowed to move our jaws. I got to meet Dan Aykroyd, but it was all prosthetics. And I was wondering, like, how do they get that guy to look so much like Kim Jong-un, even though it's not Kim Jong-un? And then they took a photograph of him with a tape in the back of the scalp, pulling back the scalp. And I'm like, oh, I know that. I used to be an actor. That's a prosthetic. He's got a prosthetic scalp on. They're doing prosthetic makeup. Yeah, I think he passed. I think he's out. And now they've got some actor doing prosthetic makeup. And then what you do is you take acetone and you put acetone to take off the glue, and then you pull it off. But the prosthetic comes all the way down into the cheek, and it actually covers, and you know your fold here. I know because I did it more than once. I got to be a monster on Star Trek too. And then it comes down to the fold here, and then you put makeup here to cover the fold so that the eyebrows are fake, the parts of the cheek are fake, and then they put it over the guy's head, Kim Jong-un, and then they pulled it down like this. They pull everything forward, and then if you look, tape on the back of Kim Jong-un's head, you can actually see the prosthetic tape. It's there for everybody to see that they've pulled it back and they've taped it. It's not him. So, when we think about the old economy, Deb Z. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Deb Z. I appreciate you and you appreciate me, Deb Z. That was cute. Walking away from the things that we had established in the past. The old economy is dead. But what's exciting is that now is the time to make money on the new green economy. So people are investing in the new power plants. This is the year also that Germany shuts down all their nuclear power plants, right? We've got democratic socialists now in Germany working with the Greens. That's all over now. So we've walked away from a lot of old economies in 2022. But when things pass away, new things come, right? And so what we have now is Page of Pentacles, which is new jobs, new opportunities. So everything that came to an end gives birth to something new. And 2022 is about the new economy. And we always see the new green economy. It's rough. It's difficult because the next couple of years, things have to pass away. But it's also a time of stabilization because the next year and a half is really, let's get back to work. Let's get back to sanity. Let's clean up the mess. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead. There's a feeling that the crazy people at the top that created this mess, it's almost like their own family members are putting a gag in their mouth and dragging them off to Bedlam, like with Mary Trump having, first we had a breakdown, right? First she had to go into therapy and then she got it together and she went to the press and some version, just like the woman from Disney went to the press. She's been fighting to get Disney to be an ethical company for years, discriminating against people in the LGBTQ community. That was a fight they had to take on. Money for the workers, safety for the workers, etc. Everything is a fight. But the old ways are gone. Eight of Cups, the old ways are gone. And a new industry emerges. The Page of Pentacles, when we think about pages, we think of them as angels, right? They bring messages. And the coin, messages regarding new coin. Yeah. We are looking beyond the horizon. Our wishes are coming true. What do you need in order to become happy? What do you want your business, your work, your labor, your family to look like in 2022? What are you, Abigail Disney, I adore her. What do you want for 2022? When we think about the Three of Wands, waiting for your ships to come in, there's an aspect that we are building something new. It's also a 3-month period. So we're talking about between here and March of 2022, new commerce, right? This is really how I feel when I look at this juxtaposition, walking away from the old ways, new economy, new business opportunities coming in over the next 3 months, waiting for what we planted to come back, waiting for the ships to come in. The crossing card or the block right now, not really, because we have a star card as the card that is blocking. Star can be to receive an anointing or a blessing. It's also good stars, right? We say mazel, right? To have good stars, to have good mazel, mazel tov, good stars, mazel tov. So we have, yay, a nice star there, a nice mazel tov coming in over your ships. What you plant today, a bird song. Miss Patricia, Connie, Melinda, Sharon, Debsy, Geocosmic, right? Melinda, all these beautiful people that are coming together. What do you want? This is what the universe is saying to you. When we work on the side of true in word and deed, being clear about who you are, being clear about what you want, the universe says to you, you have a guided way as long as you stay on the straight and narrow. What do you want? Because Three of Wands has an aspect to it of having your wishes granted. And then to have the star over it, I will guide the way. The star also is a navigational tool, right? Think about the stars. This is how ships would guide. They would look at the planets, and it would help them know where they're needing to go to. It also has an aspect of measure for measure, right? In Hebrew, measure for measure, you guys get to learn a little Hebrew today, mida keneged mida. Give it a shot. See if you can say that. Mida keneged mida, measure for measure. So, what you plant going into something greater than yourself. It kind of reminds me of that song by Rush, living in our tiny pools, right? We soon forget about the ocean. How we are connected to everything else, what we put in. What is above us, unraveling, right? This is a feeling of unraveling, that to some extent the world has to unravel itself from our previous commitments, right? So if we invested in mutual funds that were associated with coal and oil, now we got to pull ourselves out and reinvest into solid mutual funds and business that are thinking about the new economy. Oh, hi, Anna. Anna's a friend of mine. Good to see you, Anna. Happy New Year. So we see here that the world is also entering into a time of 8 of Swords, which is where the person tries to get themselves out of a knot and then winds up creating even more of a knot and then creates more of a knot. How can we come out of that? Has anybody here seen the comedy movie Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar on Hulu? It's very, very funny. It's got that actress from SNL who I absolutely love. She was on SNL for like 11 years, maybe even longer. But there's a point where the two girls get all tied up, and then they keep trying to untie themselves, but they're only tying themselves up more. It's very, very funny. Check it out on Hulu. Barb and Star. You can also see it on YouTube. See it with friends, have some popcorn, you'll laugh your heads off. It's very, very, very funny. And they do this amazing Wisconsin accent. Kristen Wiig. Yes, we're Barb and Star, and we work at the furniture store, which is the most exciting place in our town. And then they lose their job, so they decide to go to Florida on vacation, and then they get involved in all this crazy stuff. But it's very, very funny. But there's a point when they try to untie themselves. It's very funny. So 8 of Swords. Well, the things that tied down the world have to be untied. And then what we sit in is the confusion, right? So if your entire identity is tied to something that is not good for you, not good for the planet, that can be devastating because it means you have to walk away from all of that stuff, right? So how does the planet untie itself? Confusion, moon, howling at the moon, disoriented. How do we untie ourselves and walk away from the things that no longer serve us towards the new economy? And what we're coming out of is it's over. 4 of Swords. It's like the economy of old is dead. It's just that they don't know it yet. Think about that. It's dead. It's in the grave. It's over, but they don't know it yet. I burnt myself. Yes. I made chicken and rice last night. Anyway, delicious, but I do tend to burn myself a lot. Okay, so 4 of Swords. So it's an economy that's already come to an end, or the past is already dead. It's not just the economy; it's that the old ways are gone. It's kind of reminds me of when I did a remote view for Princess Diana. She said, sometimes the old ways are not the best ways. And I thought that was a really lovely way to say it. It was right before her son was leaving Britain. And I remembered being surprised and saying, they're leaving. They're out. They're gone. They're no longer going to be. And people are like, yeah, it's not going to happen. And then we did a remote view on Princess Diana, and her response to Harry was, well, sometimes the old ways are not the best ways. And that's pretty much what you get with this. In a way, it's already dead. The royal family in Britain propped up a lot of really horrible things. It had to justify its right to be there and the economy that it supported by convincing people that they were somehow entitled to more than everybody else, or that they were there by God's will, or that they were genetically superior. There were all these arguments that people clung to, particularly the hanger-ons, right? The people that were hanging on to that old economy, that were living off the fumes of the royals. We'll take care of your dirty work for you, by creating racist newspapers and getting the people that have called you out on your crap to look like horrible people, et cetera, et cetera. So that's collapsing. Ghislaine Maxwell being found guilty 5 of 6 counts, right? And now the prince is being subpoenaed. The FBI wants to talk to him. So the old ways are gone, right? They've gone away. This is very much, it's over. It's in the grave. The things we built. It's terrifying too when you think about it, but at the same time, it put the world in a situation. I don't know how to get myself out of this because I'm so tied to the old ways, and the old ways are gone, and the confusion as well. And what we enter into is the time of leadership and strength. So those people who have their acts together, who are trustworthy, who do know right from wrong, who are true in word and deed, right? They become our leadership. The King of Wands, Yehuda, the head of the tribe. He's also the entrepreneur. So the entrepreneur shows the way, right? The person who starts the new economy, the new green economy. He's the one that comes to lead. I got this, right? The person who understands justice and truth and seeks justice absolute and is not afraid of the new ways, right? The old ways are gone. The new ways are coming. Where the world is at, the message from Spirit is you have no idea just how many resources this planet has. So think about that. We have to really meditate on that. We have no idea how much power we have. We have no idea the amount of resources that we have in the planet right now. Those people who come from a place of there's not enough. The old ways, there wasn't enough. But with new innovation, with new entrepreneurship, with new ideas, Aries is the firstborn, right? That strong Leo and Aries energy coming in, new beginnings, new money, a new way of doing things, the millennials coming in with their oat milk and all their crazy ideas, right? So where we are at right now is abundance, actually. We're not poor. We are actually in a place of tremendous abundance. We just have to be aware of it and find those resources. The 9 of Pentacles comes to us in the 7th house. So that would indicate that the planet is entering into a time of tremendous abundance and fertility and solutions. Solutions to the water crisis, solutions to the how many people come out of poverty every day, not only in this country, but throughout the world. Tomorrow we'll be doing another fundraiser for Oxfam, right? Because we like to do our fundraisers on Sunday. Oxfam is a international nonprofit that helps pull people out of poverty. So we're seeing really the death of poverty because the new economy doesn't require, nobody has to be poor. The new economy requires, now people are going to be paid at least $15 an hour, right? At least. So we're entering into the time of the 9 of Pentacles. So it's scary, right? Depending upon how tied you are to the old ways. But you also have this guarantee from the planet where the planet is saying there's enough. There's more than enough. There's more than enough food. There's more than enough resources. You just have to know how to use the resources you have. The opposition doesn't want to change. The opposition to these changes in the world comes as the 2 of Swords. This comes up a lot. We want everybody to be happy, right? We want everybody to be part of the new ways, but there are just people that are not going to do it. It's, It was really depressing to hear what Warren Buffett said recently to Bernie Sanders. He said, it's not my problem and it's not my responsibility that people be paid a living wage. What? So you really, what is your function then? So you have the Two of Swords there. The opposition doesn't want to hear it, doesn't want to see it, doesn't want to explore it. Interesting, right? The hope and the fear, fighting. Fighting is like a bunch of people pulling on a rope, right? And we're all just exhausting ourselves and nothing is getting accomplished. We're just exhausting ourselves, right? So we have fighting, conflict, exchange of ideas, education also, right? We do have that aspect coming in with the Five of Wands, and it's the fear. We don't want to fight anymore. The final outcome, again, a new beginning, a strong foundation, financial stability, and we are creating an economy that's so strong, the winds of change will not blow it away. That is the promise of the planet. If you align yourself with the natural order, if you align yourself with the natural order of the planet and how the planet is set up, there will always be enough. The Knight of Pentacles is solid, and it's also an economic stability card. So I would say that 2022 is economically stable so long as we recognize where the economy is headed. It also speaks very well for people's retirements. I know a lot of people were really afraid of their retirements in 2022, but I simply do not see problems for seniors in 2022. Quite the opposite. This is talking about unbelievable stability returning. And I'll tell you why. I'll go over this one more time for you. You can see again the seventh house, which is financial stability. It's the Roth IRA. It's the abundance. It's fertility. It's also good for the economy, good for the planet. And then here, new jobs, new growth, walking away from the old economy. And then the final outcome, which is really kind of like a good banker's card, the Clydesdale, stable, solid, economic stability. I think a lot of why this happens also is because of this need they have to start monitoring how money is being used, money is being spent. There's a lot more accountability in 2022. The other thing that's really great, and I would just close with this for the readings for 2022, is that with an end of fear and a new kind of stability sweeping the planet comes the resurgence of art and music and poetry and creativity and dreaming again. Because when you're in a state of fear, when you're afraid of, what's going to happen tomorrow or down the road, it can restrict you, right? It can be very, very restrictive. And what I like about the emerging of this community and beyond is this idea that we dream again, that there's this idea of creativity and dreaming and hope, which was lost, returning again. I think we went through a very dark period, particularly a dark period when it involved the planet. But now when we look at the new green economy, that saving the planet is the only economy that's left. We have hope. Of course, that would be the nice juxtaposition of the Queen of Cups who rubs her lamp and she dreams again, sitting on a solid ground financially. A new opportunity comes to us financially, Four of Wands, right? Which is the springtime, new, it's new, only four walls, but it's a new foundation. And then we see the dream, the Ten of Pentacles, which again would indicate inheritance. And just to know that the earth is strong. She is strong. She is your birthright. You are her. She is you. We are all part of the earth. And it comes with a guarantee that we have more than enough to save ourselves, and we will. So 2022 is very optimistic, but cold. I'm sorry to say it is a cold, cold winter. All right, so that is the year of 2022. Totally new economy. Yeah, did you like that? Oh, you're welcome. and it's a good year for cats. Right, Mila? Plenty of kitty kibble? Hmm? Yeah? Did you enjoy your nap? All right, so we've been going for a little over an hour. If you haven't had a chance to do so yet, if you could share, like, and subscribe, that would be great. I'm going to do a couple of blitzes if you all want me to. I don't want to do too many, though, because we are going to be together for at least an hour and a half, 2 hours tomorrow. This was really more a chance to get together with everybody and celebrate the new year. But if you want, we can do a couple quick blitzes before we close. Right, Mila? Yeah. You going to come up here so you can see the group? Why don't you come up here and say hi to everybody? Yeah? They missed you. They haven't seen you in like 2 weeks. No? Not awake yet? You don't want to come up to your, that's your chair right up there. Then you can say hi. We're live. Okay, well, I don't know. She does what she wants to do. The girl does what she wants to do. Yeah. That was a really, really good reading for. I just feel so. Don't. There she goes. Yeah. So that's Swish and Tail. She's happy. All right, here's a really good one. Entertainment in 2022. Let's take a look at it. The entertainment industry in 2022. I love these new cards. I have so many different cards, but I always go back to just the Rider-Waite, the Universal Rider-Waite, or is this the Radiance deck? I think it might be the Radiance deck. People want to know what my favorite is. I think just the good old-fashioned Rider-Waites, but I like the Radiant, where it's a little bit nicer colors. My all-time favorite. Like I said, I have many, many different types of cards, but I just feel so confident with this deck. It was one of my first decks, and I've been using it for quite a while. There was a car accident on an action movie? Holy heck. Wow. So they're actually saying that 2022, it's interesting. It ended with the Queen of Cups, which is the dreamer. So, but she was solid. She was solid on that Knight of Wands, which is a very stable card economically. So I feel very good about that. The stock market was a little scary in 2022. We had huge dips, and then it would come up, and then huge dips. But I feel like we have a nice stability here. In terms of the entertainment industry, I think a lot of people passed, unfortunately. A lot of actors, performers, etc., quit the business. I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that there wasn't a lot of filming going on. Also, a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people were outed between 2017, 2021, inappropriate behavior. You think about people that left CNN, the Weinstein getting convicted, Kelly, what's his name? Kelly going to prison. So there was a lot of people, a lot of, entertainment dynasties that fell, right? And also fashion industries that fell. What is it? Victoria's Secrets, right? The fact that he came out as an Epstein person, just dynasties, entertainment, fashion, etc. There was this huge collapse. You can see Five of Swords. It was almost like people were pushed out of the industry. There's also a lot of sexism, discrimination, in Hollywood is very classist. I used to live in it, and it was the haves and the have-nots. If I don't know you, you're nothing, and your life has no value. Really? That's what determines whether or not my life has value, whether or not I'm an actor? Really? You sure about that? So, like a nurse who nobody knows, who spends her life saving lives, is less important than an actor. Does that really sound sane to you? That whole way of doing business, thank God, is coming to an end. You know, people were chased out of town. It also wasn't good for the actors, and it wasn't good for the entertainers. What I see is more actors that start looking like people. You don't need to be a size 0 or a size 2 or even a size 6. We love you as a size 10, 12, 14. You do you. You just take care of you. You take care of your health. We would be really we appreciate it if actors could start looking like people and stop doing strange things to their faces, you know? So I see a lot more authenticity in actors, a lot less eating disorders, a lot less facial surgery. You know, it just feels like we're going away from all of that crazy. It's just a psych hospital, you know? It's one of the reasons I had to get out of LA. But the old ways are gone, man. The people have been run out of town. But here's the good news about acting and entertainment in 2022. The sun's coming out. So I feel like it's a time for independent films, plays, music, a great time for LGBTQ film, theater, and the arts. Oh, what's she doing? And oh, okay, you're going to come down here. And also a really great time for women, small independent films. It's just the sun coming out, new opportunities, and giving people a chance, people who, the Latino community, Black artists, people of color. This feels egalitarian to me. So we're seeing more artists, people doing their best work and coming together and supporting each other. 501s, great. As we've said before, 501s is exchange of ideas. It's not about physically hitting each other. If you look really closely at the 501s, nobody's hitting anybody, right? They're guys just holding up a stick. They're constructing something. It's interesting. One of the artists, I've heard that that the artist was inspired by the merry men of Shakespeare when she drew that picture, right? So you have the merry men constructing their stage, and they're all arguing, "No, we've got a barn. We're going to put on a play," right? But the other thing about 501s is it's an exchange of ideas, right? They're not hitting each other. They're carrying it, they're lifting it, and everybody's got an idea. Everybody has a different opinion. So there can be some arguing, but they're equals. They're coming together as equals and they're sharing ideas. Don't worry, she doesn't eat toxic plants. She's too spoiled for that. And then the crossing card exchange of ideas is abundance. So there's a fairness here in the arts. 9 of Pentacles coming in. This is something that Trevor Noah has talked about, right? This is something that Jon Stewart has talked about, right? You couldn't get an internship if you were poor because the poor cannot afford to work for free. So only the rich whose parents were supporting them could be interns, right? So there was no chance whatsoever for poor people to ever get ahead in any career which required an internship. And what he started doing is saying, this is ridiculous. You need to pay your interns because good people out there who come from poor families don't get to play the game, right? So he paid Trevor Noah, right? He paid these people, and that was how, and it made the show better, right? So you have this 9 of Pentacles coming in as well over the theater. So the theater is coming back, the arts are coming back, but there's more equanimity. And it becomes fun again. Also, we see new money coming in. So we could be seeing funding for the arts that wasn't there before. The old ways are gone, my friends. The old ways are gone. The sexism, the casting couch, all that sick, creepy power stuff going on, Two of Pentacles, past placement. So just the weirdness. And we're entering into also a time of academia. This is another thing that's coming up with the arts, where putting out art that assumes that the people that are watching it actually have a brain, scholarship, intellectualism, returning back to the arts, knowledge, look, construction of new ideas, very similar to the last reading, stable, actors should be able to pay their rent. They don't need to be millionaires. An actor was never supposed to be a millionaire or an aristocrat. Come on, folks. You're an actor from Toronto. Get over it. All right. I love my actor friends, but sometimes they get into character. Oh, I'm a royal because no, you're an actor from Toronto. We all love you, but that, come on, you need to that's just a character you play. So there is this aspect of stability finally. And then the final outcome is the Moon card. So there is kind of a confusion still going into 2022 about these changes. I think a lot of people are just not prepared for them. They're not prepared for, there's more lawsuits, by the way, going on. Looks like some people are going to be sued and more criminal action, more people possibly being taken out. I don't see COVID continuing to be a problem in the arts. I see it coming to an end in the next 3 or 4 months. And that's because the Delta was displaced by Omicron, which is much, much milder, highly contagious, but also much, much milder, and basically immunized those people who didn't get vaccinated. And so for that reason, we'll probably see in the next 3 to 4 months the virus stabilizing itself. But I see more lawsuits. I see more people being outed. It's like that Queen of Wands energy, when it comes in, it's like grab the stick and get the heck out of here. You are not wanted in our business, in our work, in our schools, etc. And I really love that 6th house coming in with that Hermit card. It's like we become intellectual again. The arts return back to the school. Intellectual curiosity, creativity. Yeah, it's really good. All right, everyone. So I am going to, yes, the facial surgery. And I can tell you, I know people who have had stuff done and it's terrifying. I just like, what happens is that a lot of doctors that get into plastic surgery, they owe $500,000, $1 million in student loans. And so they start running all these businesses where they can do massive Botox and whatnot to pay off their student loans. And that's just not why I became a doctor. Yeah, I got a lot of student loans too. I got $350,000 in student loans, but I'm not going to con somebody into coming into my office to have a procedure that they don't need because of my student loan problems. There's a way to pay back your student loans without screwing over your patients or conning them into a procedure they don't need. That's what I mean about being the Queen of Wands. If we're going to be the Queen of Wands, if we're going to be true in word and deed, we have to really be true in word and deed and not sell people things they don't need, right? So that is basically 2022. Of course, this party will continue on tomorrow at 11 a.m. for the brunch. Did everybody have a good time? I know I did. Y'all have fun? Thank you, everyone, for the donations, for the new memberships. And, she's off. Ooh, she's playing with the succulents. Mila, are you playing with the succulents? Naughty girl. All right, love and light. If you'd like to come in for a reading, you can go to tarotwithwhimsy.com. I got plenty of openings for next week. And I think that's all I have for you guys. All right. I'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Be well, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you for everything. Thank you for a beautiful year. Stay safe and happy and healthy. And I guess I'll see you next time. Next week, another spa day as well. All right. Bye, everyone. Bye.